Hey, it is your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're zooming in and focusing in on a really great and important topic, and that is removal of denial in your life. Removal of denial. What is swept underneath the rug? What is behind the curtains? What is behind the closed door? What is locked? What is the skeleton in the closet? What have you been trying to shroud over, cover up, not want to face, not to want to feel, not want to work through? What are you procrastinating about? And this is oftentimes experienced, especially in the realm of relationships, as the experience of denial. That is not wanting to understand or see things clearly, soberly for what it is, how one is being treated, and to really come to terms with that and understanding the truth therein. And as the saying goes, the truth will set you free. This is very much the case when it comes to really sort of being blocked, stuck, or really living by self-limiting beliefs that are oftentimes experienced in dysfunctional relationships, dysfunctional families, dysfunctional communities or economies. And that is the experience of denial, or not really being aware, not really kind of seeing things clearly. And it's not just seeing things through rose-colored glasses, it's really kind of taking the blinders off of one's perspective and getting focused on really what is, embracing that, acknowledging that, and then taking really sort of the high road, the adult perspective and what is going on. I find that oftentimes if people are experiencing ruminations, repeated thoughts over and over and over again, that then translate into negative feelings, which they feel again and again and again, which then pervasively becomes a mood, and a mood over time then becomes an identity. And, your personal moods repeated over time then becomes your personality. And so this can become kind of what we call like a ruminating personality, a brooding personality, sort of stuck in the swamp land of repetitive, repeated thoughts that are not serving you, that are perhaps stuck or originated like a seed festered in a garden in the past. So if we talk about unresolved feelings, oftentimes this is what is causing these ruminating thoughts. In other words, it's trying to work out or work through or get an awareness or a conclusion or a closure thereof. And this will keep one in denial. So to see things, for example, and that's why I talk about how important it is to come to terms with this in the recovery journal, and really that is to look at what you are procrastinating about. And oftentimes this is what is one is living in denial or not seeing it for what it is, or the impact that it is having, understanding that intellectually, emotionally, psychologically, and then spiritually, and then moving that into radical action physically, emotionally, spiritually, and psychologically, really on all levels rolled into one. And the denial really is that what one is procrastinating about. So whether it's coming to terms and saying, these ruminating feelings which are stuck, which were put in place to serve another individual and to keep me down in the dark, living small, living unhappy, living in their shadow, living as an underling as it relates specifically to this individual. Realize that oftentimes that is a traumatic bond. It is not a relationship. So the denial then, to break through or shatter through the denial, the cocoon, the shell that is keeping you stuck, living small, or what we call self-limiting beliefs, which oftentimes are running through your system and you're not aware of that you're living by these self-limiting beliefs, but they show up in your life in terms of you're not able to have relationships, you're not able to keep a job, your health is going south, you're not able to make the money that you want. These are all self-limiting beliefs. They're like barriers or barricades or walls that you keep pushing up against and you don't know why. You feel stuck. And oftentimes there is a denial of the connection and seeing clearly. Sometimes, as I say, it is a big pill to swallow, knowing that either this family is not the family that it appears to be or the illusion that it is. This person, my mother, father, brother, sister, boss, coworker, neighbor, or fiance or spouse, whatever this person is, perhaps they are not the person that they give the illusion to be. In other words, they might have a certain persona, a facade, a mask, a show. Especially the psychopath, these individuals, their relationships are a complete show of feelings. They will put on feelings which have no congruence or equation with who they are underneath the surface. So these people are very adept. I mean, they are beyond what most people would have the ability to put forth in terms of what they would be able to commit in terms of violence. They commit violence with a smile and have no flinching. They have no flaring. They have no, conscious. They have no hard feelings of able to be committing grave crimes, huge violence, destruction of other people's lives, their finances, etc. This is not a relationship. This is a trauma bond. This becomes then a sickness. So oftentimes, or your parent who had the responsibility, the expertise to be your caregiver, to be your authority, to be your superego, they are not only a presence, but they then become internalized and an internal voice driving you throughout your life. So really, they become kind of the backbone of all of your decisions moving forward. They're very integral and important to the person who you are and who you become. Now, if that person, that spouse, that sibling, that parent had an undue presence or a negative presence, a negative trauma bond that is creating a dysfunction, it is creating the doubt, the seeds of doubt, the I can't, the I'm not, the, I cannot be responsible. I can't live freely without this feeling of guilt or abandonment or, overwhelming feelings or overwhelming, I can't just be myself 100% because there's this trauma bond still stuck. Every time you try to make a step forward, you feel a step back, and it's keeping you in a regress state, and you're wondering why. It's like a ball and chain. It's oftentimes because there is the seeds of denial. And understanding the perspective in a clear manner and giving yourself permission to let it go. Let it go, meaning to live freely, distinctly, and separately from that person, and to stop telling yourself the story of how important this is. You owe this person your life. Your life purpose is to take care of them. Your life purpose is to seek their approval. Your life purpose is to make them smile. Your life purpose is to prove them right or wrong, to make them unhappy, to not disappoint them, to live in close proximity. So whatever it is, there's an anecdote, there is a story that is running in your subconscious, your internal dialogue, which perhaps you don't vocalize, you haven't gotten out on pen and paper. So that's why I express that it's so important for you to write these things down. And that's why we have a section in the recovery journal is, what have I been denying? What have I been procrastinating about? What am I living in denial of? And it's just really having the internal fortitude, the solar plexus, the courage, the self-belief, the inner trust to look at that and just say, okay, I am embracing my truth. This was not a positive relationship. This is not what a family, quote unquote, is. This is not a love relationship. This was a trauma bond. And if it's a trauma bond, then I have to let it go. And it's going to make me a better person to swallow that big pill, to take the responsibility, to be on my own, to love myself 100%, and to let them go in love, not in judgment. This is God's creation, this parent, or, God created this. God has set this into motion. And I let that go, and I leave that up to God now. The higher intelligence, which has more information, more wisdom, the creator of the sacred geometry of the universe, I'm giving it up to that higher intelligence. I realize that there is a force in life more intelligent than me, who is in control, who has the power to make the water, to make the fire, to make the air, to make the soil, the trees, everything else. So I'm giving it up to that this narcissist, this psychopath, this is God's creation, and I happen to have come into encounter with it like a storm that is passing by, and that it's moving along the plains, moving along another direction. The storm might fizzle out, it might become worse, it might collide with this and this, but a storm is, and I will allow it to pass, and I won't, try to chase the storm. I won't be stuck in the storm. I won't be walking along my life with a umbrella. I'm going to let go of the umbrella, and I'm going to feel the sun. I'm going to feel the wind. I'm going to smell the flowers. I'm going to taste, the clean water, all that life has. And I'm not going to live it just in the midst of this storm, because the denial is oftentimes not acknowledging the relationship, the person, the situation at hand for what it is. So it's saying, okay, maybe I have to come to a realistic sense. Maybe this mother had some shortcomings. Maybe this father did not give me this. Maybe this is not the family dynamics that we are made out to be. Maybe this is not the community it is made out to be. Maybe this is not the workplace it was made out to be. Maybe this is not the economy, etc. So it's coming to terms with the denial and realizing, okay, what is the solution then? And the solution is to take responsibility for my personal reality, the way that I desire and want to live moving forward. And that is now coming to the element of choice. Choice for your feelings, choice for your behaviors, choice and selection of your feelings, your decisions, your behaviors moving forward. And if the choice is now to learn to say no, and to stop feeding into the denial, to stop getting sucked in, to stop the reactive mode. And this needs to be repeated again and again and again, where you need to back yourself up again and again and again and make these choices and live free. And you have to do this before it really sets in. It's not like a one-time thing when it comes to facing and dealing with denial and breaking through that. And, getting free of the chains, getting free of the cocoon, also, which is experienced as self-limiting beliefs or denial or procrastination. And then you're able to let go. The ruminations will stop. The flashbacks will stop. The guilt will stop. The person having power over you and diminishing you will stop. The minimizing, being triggered, kind of having that electrode under the skin experience of being raw, flinching and reacting to them will stop. It's like you have a stake in the ground. You are planted, you are rooted. You are rooted in yourself, your internal dialogue. You are not rooted in the other person, the narcissist, the psychopath, that person who is seeking to emotionally control you and keep you stuck in such a trauma bond relationship. It is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. And I hope that these videos, that they do help. Please do share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.